Hey everybody, and welcome to WordStream's Emergency Enhanced Campaigns Clinic webinar. Your campaigns are enhanced. Now what? For today's agenda, we're going to cover 4 most common upgrade paths for the new enhanced campaigns, and these include if you're targeting all devices, which is the most popular, if you're targeting geo-targeted, if you're targeting only desktop, and if you're only targeting tablet and or mobile. We're also going to walk you through AdWords Campaigns Upgrade Center, which is pretty neat. To introduce our speaker for today's presentation, we have on the line Larry Kim. Larry is the founder and CTO of WordStream. He's been doing PPC and SEO for 10 plus years. 5 years ago, he started WordStream, and WordStream is the provider of the AdWords grader and the 20-minute PPC work week. Larry was also voted #1 top influential PPC experts in 2013 by ppchero.com, which is a great accomplishment. So before we get started, we'd just like to learn a little bit about who we have on the webinar today. So we're going to launch a couple poll questions, and if you can pick the answer that best fits you, that'd be great. And with that, I'll hand things over to Larry, and he can walk you through the polls.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. My first question for you guys today, given this is our emergency clinic, is what percentage of your campaigns have you already upgraded to AdWords Enhanced Campaigns? I'm just curious, like, what's the situation here? Is it like 1 to 25%, 26 to 50%, 51 to 75%, or the majority, 76 to 100% of your campaigns have upgraded, or have we not yet started? So if you could just lock in your answers there. How are we doing today here, Chris? So it looks like there's kind of a lot of people who either are very close to being done or haven't started yet. It's kind of a bimodal distribution. Very interesting indeed. And we have just one more question for the audience today, and that is, how are your PPC campaigns doing in the new enhanced campaign world? And the options I have for you here are either amazing, way better than before, terrible, the performance is tanked, or it's too early to tell. You haven't yet, migrated to enhanced campaigns, or just haven't had a chance to analyze it yet. So I'd love to hear, how are things going in your world? This would be for the people who've started doing some upgrading, though. How are we doing on our poll question here, Chris?
There you go, Larry. I just launched the results for you.
Too early to tell. So if we take those guys out, it's terrible outweighs amazing by 7 to 1. Oh no, that doesn't seem very promising. Well, maybe it's because there's some tips and tricks that we can leverage here in terms of improving the enhanced campaign performance. So, yes, let's move on. Let's jump right in here. Hello, everyone. It's Larry here. I'm the founder and CTO of WordStream. Happy Enhanced Campaign Day. After today, we'll no longer be calling it enhanced campaigns. I'm just going to be calling them regular campaigns. And I think it's been a really exciting 6 months since the announcement of enhanced campaigns. It seems like, we've been talking a lot about it for the last 6 months, almost every week. I've been doing AdWords for about 10 years now, and I've just never seen so many kind of new and disruptive changes happening in such a short time period. So I think it's been a pretty exciting little kind of time around now. But anyways, I thought I'd kick off this emergency webinar by explaining a very, very important search marketing concept for enhanced campaigns known as user context. All right. So the reason why this is such an important concept is because it's going to really play into like everything that we're talking about today in terms of like why enhanced campaigns exist. And so, as you know, search marketing, search advertising, it's always been great because we're doing, keyword-based targeting. You can show your ads to people who are looking exactly for the stuff that you sell at the right time. But now, as you can see in this kind of infamous pizza example on the right side here from Google, it's true the keyword matters, but the user context also matters a great deal. So take as an example, two people here searching on the exact same word, pizza, so two people executing a search for pizza, but maybe they're looking for completely different things. And so there's clues that we can pick up from the user context. For example, the woman on the left here is searching for pizza on her phone downtown in the evening. Maybe she's just looking for directions to a pizza place to buy a slice. The man on the right side here, he's searching for pizza on his notebook at home at lunchtime. Maybe he's looking for delivery to his home. And so I realize this is just a kind of a dumb example, but the point here, the important takeaway here is that by taking advantage of a user context, the time, location, and device from where this search has originated, businesses such as yours and marketers, we can far better target user intent. What I mean by this is that look at those ads below the man and the woman. One of them features like a click-to-call button, directions, dinner specials. The other one talks about lunch delivery orders. And so by understanding and reacting to user context that, in the search marketing campaigns in terms of the targeting and in the ad copy, you can greatly improve the return on investment for your paid search dollars. And so you might ask at this point, how is this any different from before? And I think you have a good point there if that was your question, because geo-targeting and day parting and device targeting, these were all previously available in AdWords, but unfortunately, in order to take advantage of these more sophisticated, mobile advertising features and strategies that are required to be successful, such as, device targeting and geo-targeting and so forth, then the advertisers would have to take on sort of an exponential amount of additional campaign management complexity, meaning in the current, like the previous AdWords platform, advertisers were expected to create different campaigns, one for every city, one for every device, one for for different time periods. Like it just quickly becomes very difficult, if not impossible, for the average advertisers to manage this. And because this is so overwhelming, only the most sophisticated of agencies and advertisers with large budgets and dedicated in-house PPC managers took advantage of Google's various, advanced mobile advertising features. And so I think you'll see in my presentation today that these new enhanced campaign features kind of fixes a lot of these challenges in a very interesting way, while laying a solid foundation for the next kind of generation of innovations in paid search. And so that's a really important concept around user context. And now let's get into the details of enhanced campaigns. Basically, as you know, there's just three categories of features. New bidding options that are going to enable you to adjust your bids on your device, based on the device location and time of day, all within the same campaign. Marketers can also customize those ads, as you saw earlier, for mobile devices or for different time of day, giving you very granular control of how your ads show across different user contexts. And finally, there's some new reporting capabilities that will help you kind of more quantify the return on investment of your mobile search dollars. So, for example, you can figure out the number of calls. And this will help you better optimize your campaigns in this multi-device world that we live in. And as I was saying earlier, the best part of all of this is you can use all of these features in the same campaign. So it's like substantially easier to leverage this stuff than before. All right. Let's see here. So essentially, it's important to note that enhanced campaigns isn't just a bunch of new features. So it's true that there's all these new features that are being added, but there's a bunch of features in AdWords that are either being retired or kind of changed in a pretty significant way. And so I think that's where a lot of the headaches and anxiety is coming from. It's not from all the new features. It's actually from some of these retired, deprecated, sunsetted features. And so I thought it might be worthwhile to point out a quick rundown of what's changing in terms of what's going away or what's being fundamentally changed. Firstly, enhanced campaigns now run across all devices with optimizations for mobile and elements of user context like date and time, and location. The mobile ads require special bids and extensions and ad texts, but fundamentally they can be managed from the same campaign as your desktop ads. Previously, the best practice was to split them up. You had to have different copies of your campaign, one for mobile, one for desktop. That's no longer the case. That's been kind of turned on its head. You no longer have to do that. Ignore what they were saying previously. 2, the keyword bids can be set at the keyword level for desktop search, but the mobile bids are now applied uniformly to all the keywords within a single ad group or campaign. So it's no longer possible to designate keyword level bids for mobile keywords within an ad group or a campaign. 3, with enhanced campaigns, the tablets can no longer be explicitly targeted. So previously, if you had a campaign that was targeting tablet traffic only, that is now gone. And so the only workaround here, or all you can do now is both tablet and desktop, because they're now bundled together as one. And lastly, the big change here is Google historically did your bid management for you if you happen to have a campaign that was opted into both desktop and mobile, and if you only specified one bid, then Google was actually managing your mobile bids for you, kind of behind the scenes, because you only had one bid specified. And now, going forward, the advertisers are all required to explicitly specify a mobile bid adjustment so that Google will no longer have to automatically adjust your bids, your mobile bids on your behalf. And so it's really recommended that you put some thought into this when you're setting your mobile bid adjustment factor to ensure best results. So that's kind of just 2 slides. That's all I wanted to talk about, kind of the background of enhanced campaigns, which I just summarized into, because most of the time today we're going to be focusing on specific migration paths and best practices here. Migrating from enhanced campaigns, migrating to enhanced campaigns depends primarily on your current campaign structure. In a way, it kind of rewards last movers, so it kind of creates a last mover advantage, and creates a lot of additional work for the early adopters in AdWords who previously were using kind of the mobile best practices, which have now been turned on its head. So what I mean by this is, if you previously created those mobile and desktop versions of the same campaign as you were advised by Google to do so, if that's you, then I'm afraid you'll have to undo most of that work you did in order to make those campaigns compatible with this new enhanced campaign.
So the first of the 4 paths that I'm going to talk about today is this notion of if your campaign targets all of the devices. So if you've got campaigns in your AdWords account that do mobile, tablet, and desktop, well, basically this is the most common path by far. On average, I'm finding that 19 out of 20 advertisers kind of fall into this bucket here. So it's like the 95% case here. So if you've previously been ignoring the mobile search best practices, that is to say, if you were currently targeting desktop and mobile traffic in the same campaigns and you never bothered to separate them into separate campaigns, then you're in great luck here. Enhanced campaigns means that you don't have to deal with any sort of backwards compatibility issues, and you can think of all of these new features and functions as essentially a bonus. In a nutshell, all you need to do here is just set a mobile bid adjustment and then just create some mobile preferred ads to show when someone searches for one of your keywords on a mobile device, and just consider using some new bidding options like time of day adjustments, and we'll talk about all of this stuff now. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this mobile bid adjustment. Basically what it is it's a value of between -100 and plus 300%, which sets your mobile bids relative to your desktop bids. So if your business values mobile searches more than desktop clicks, then just up your mobile bid adjustment. So for example, setting a mobile bid adjustment of plus 30%, will set your mobile maximum bid amounts to 30% higher than your maximum desktop bids. Now, if you happen to value the mobile search less than desktop search, then you can dial it back a bit. So, for example, in the screenshot, you can see I'm basically just setting a mobile bid adjustment factor of minus 10%, and that will result in my mobile max CPC bids being minus 10% of the desktop bids. The number that you choose for your mobile bid adjustment factor should be kind of reflective on your views of mobile and the value of mobile for your business, and we can talk more about that in just a second. But the key takeaway here is that going forward, it's the responsibility of the advertiser to set this mobile bid adjustment factor, and I'll give you, some tips on how to set this. If when you migrate your campaigns, if you don't explicitly specify something by the end of the day today, then what's going to happen is that Google will then take it upon themselves to suggest an additional value, either up or down, for you on your behalf. And that's just going to be based on what they think is best for you, which may or may not be, exactly what's best for your business, because you know your business better than Google. And so I think you definitely should be doing your homework here and trying to make a conscious decision for what's best for your business in terms of your mobile bid adjustment factor. Let's talk a little bit about how to set this. One strategy for setting initial mobile bid adjustment factor is to set the new mobile bids to be roughly equivalent to what they previously were today. And so to do this, all you need to do is view the campaign or ad group performance statistics, as I've been showing you in this following screenshot, and then segment by the sort of the device type, as shown here. Just click segment, then device. This way, you'll be able to see how much your clicks are costing you in terms of the cost per click, but segmented out by mobile, desktop, and tablet computers. So this way you have a kind of more granular understanding of the different prices involved here. And so basically, as you can see in this picture here, we've got different prices. So computers, it's showing 5,100 clicks at 11 cents per click. And then there's these mobile kind of smartphone clicks. You've got 1,016 clicks at 8 cents average CPC. And then there's tablets with full browsers, and that's about 700 clicks at roughly 17 cents a click. And so basically all you need to do here is figure out what's the current weighted average cost per click for the tablet and computer clicks that you're paying for. So that's just a simple calculation of 5,100 times 11 cents plus the 750 times, I should say times, 17 cents, and add those together and then divide it by the total number of clicks. And you get an average, kind of weighted average cost per click for mobile and for tablet and desktop of 11.7 cents. Now, how does that compare with the average mobile cost per click of 8 cents? Well, it's 31.6% lower. So if you were to set your initial mobile bid adjustment factor at minus 31.6%, you could be assured that on average that the cost per click going forward tomorrow would be roughly equivalent to what you were paying for in the past here. And so I think that's pretty straightforward. Now, of course, that's just an initial value. You can deviate from that kind of plan, again, depending on your business. If you're a local business and you're trying to get the phone to ring, like if you're a lawyer or a dentist or something, and you have like, if the phone is a significant component of your business, then I would actually recommend bumping that up a bit. And if the phone calls aren't like, if you don't have anyone answering the phones, or if you don't think that's valuable to your business at all, then I would recommend kind of setting it a bit even more negative, so bidding even less for mobile. So that's kind of how one way of thinking about the problem and setting initial values for your different campaigns and ad groups. All right. Next, what's this isn't required, but since you've might as well take advantage of all these optional features and functions that will help you get the most out of enhanced campaigns. What's being offered here is the ability to designate a mobile preferred ad. And so because in these new enhanced universal campaigns, you've got both desktop and desktop and mobile traffic coexisting in the same campaign, you need to be able to designate which ads to show for mobile and which ads to show for desktop. And so what is being offered here is the ability to designate an ad as being a mobile preferred ad. And so what this means is by clicking that button that's kind of circled in red there, mobile, this ad is now designated as the mobile preferred ad, and Google will attempt to always deliver this particular ad if the search originates from a mobile device. Now this is really important because, as I was mentioning before, it had everything to do with user context, right? We wanted to be able to give different messaging to different people depending on if they're on the go on their phone or if they're home on their desktop, right? And so this is the key in terms of being able to come up with different messaging for different user contexts, and that's how that's done. While you're at it, since you're creating a new mobile ad, you might as well leverage these new enhanced campaign call extensions. Call extensions are existed before today, or before enhanced campaigns, but they've gotten a lot more powerful in enhanced campaigns. And so what specifically is being added is advanced scheduling capabilities. So suppose you're like a lawyer or a dentist that's has a receptionist answering the phones between 9 to 5 when your office is open Monday to Friday, but then there's no one picking up the phones in the evenings and weekends. So it probably doesn't make sense to display your call extension if there's nobody there to pick up the phone. So previously, this was a really, really difficult task. You had to come up with two different campaigns, one that would run during office hours and a different one that would run sort of nights and weekends. So now, using enhanced campaigns, you can just create these call extensions and just schedule the call extension to run when there's the receptionist is in, and then it just turns itself off nights and weekends. And then you see how much easier that is. Maybe in the evenings, you could just push people directly to the website because there's probably some useful information there. It certainly doesn't make sense to be pushing them to like a voicemail or something like that because no one's there to pick up the phone. So another really neat feature here is the addition of the phone call conversion types. Now that we're driving all this mobile traffic with the mobile preferred ads and click-to-call extensions that are scheduled, you can even measure which campaigns and ad groups are generating the calls, and then there's metrics around like the cost per call, etc. in terms of phone call conversions. And I think that's really important because unless you can measure the output of your mobile campaigns, it'll be very difficult to quantify and optimize the value of those campaigns. Again, just to stress that this is all optional functionality, but it might make also sense to leverage other ad extensions as you are upgrading your campaigns. So one of the most popular ad extensions that people use, it's even more popular than the click-to-call extension, it's the site link extension. And this is really, really popular because it's it just creates like 4 more things for the user to click on. And so what's offered here in terms of what's new is this device preference. So remember how, I don't know if you remember in the example that I provided earlier, there was different site links depending on if the user was on the go on their phone versus at home on the desktop computer. And so by having device preferences in these site links, you can actually create even more custom, more relevant messaging that will resonate with your user even stronger than before. And similarly, it supports this notion of ad scheduling, site scheduling, so that you can show lunch specials at noon and dinner specials in the evening. And here's kind of what that looks like. Again, you can have ads like this where at Friday in the afternoon it's targeting lunch specials in the site links. Yeah, it says $7 dine-in lunch specials, and on Saturday in the evening, that's dinner time, so it's saying like 2 large pizzas for $15. So different offers according to different user contexts. Again, this is seems like a pretty straightforward idea, but in the past it was less ridiculously complicated to do, because for every time you created a different segmentation of time or device or location, you have to clone your campaigns. And so sometimes you just do something like this, you might need 4 or 8 or 12 or 16 campaigns. Here you can just do it in one. So I think that's great news in terms of simplification for this particular upgrade path. Just one last thing I'd like to add here has to do with considering the time-based bid management. And so what this means is rather than having to create different campaigns for nights and weekends versus weekdays 9 to 5, because it might make more sense to bid higher while your office is open and a bit less when the office is closed. Previously, you had to create multiple campaigns for with different bids. Higher bids during daytime weekdays and lower bids on the weekends. Now you can just roll it all into the same campaign and just create these mobile bid adjustments according to a custom ad schedule that you define, and then you just add different time segmentations and kind of fill in the appropriate bid adjustment factor that you believe is valuable to your business. So like on Saturday and Sunday, it's not that those leads are worthless, but they will probably convert less because more time will have elapsed between the time that they called in on Saturday or Sunday versus the time that you call them back on Monday. As you know, you kind of need to get those leads while they're hot, and so maybe they're worth a bit less as a result. All right, so all of that was just kind of wrapping up sort of the path one, which was sort of the majority of the time where you had campaigns that were targeting both mobile and desktop in the same campaign. The second path that I wanted to talk about here has to do with if your campaigns are geo-targeted. So, a company like WordStream, we sell software to different countries, like English-speaking countries. So, like Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, Israel. We've got customers in South Africa, etc. And so in different countries have different levels of competition. Like USA is way more competitive than, say, Australia or other places. So as a result, it certainly doesn't make sense to have the same maximum CPC bids in one market versus another market. It's not just about having more or less competition. It's also about the economics and the value of those clicks. So Canadian clicks, they're still valuable to our business, but they don't convert as high a conversion rate as clicks in the USA for whatever reason. And so previously, if you wanted to just have targeting different locations, like different countries or different cities or states or different neighborhoods, it was such a hassle. You had to kind of clone those campaigns, one for every location. As you can see in the left screenshot there, you can see like my campaigns for like Canada, UK, Australia, USA, etc. Now what's being offered here is location-based bid adjustments where you just list out all the different locations that you want to target, then just kind of key in a mobile bid adjustment factor according to how much you believe those clicks are worth based on the base, like relative to the base bid of the campaign. And so I think that's pretty powerful in terms of enhanced campaign migration. If you previously had, say, like 50 campaigns, one for every state or something like that, or 20 campaigns, one for 20 different countries, there's a migration path here where you can just consolidate those various campaigns that you've previously broken out just for the purposes of having different bids. You can kind of reverse consolidate them into one campaign with different location-based bid adjustments. And I think this is also kind of would qualify as sort of a really excellent use case, and that's why I have kind of a sunny, smiling sun there, because it's pretty great. Where things start to get a little bit kind of partially cloudy, if you will, has to do with kind of these edge cases where if you have campaigns that were previously only targeting desktop or only targeting mobile. Let's talk about the desktop situation first. Firstly, you need to figure out why does this campaign exist? Like, so you have this campaign in your account that's only targeting desktop. So is that as a result of a prior campaign optimization task where you took a campaign that was targeting both mobile and desktop and you split it up into a mobile only and desktop only? If that's the reason why that desktop only campaign exists, then what you need to do is pair it up with its kind of cloned sibling campaign and just kind of consolidate those back into a single campaign, and I think you'll be okay. Alternatively, if your goal of having this campaign was specifically to exclude mobile traffic, meaning like there is no corresponding kind of cloned ad group or campaign that targets the same mobile keywords on mobile, then you're in a little bit of trouble here. What I mean by this is you can definitely set the mobile bid adjustment factor to -100, and so that'll effectively shut down the mobile traffic here. As you can see in the screenshot on the right-hand side, all you do is you go to Settings, Devices, and then set the mobile adjustment factor to decrease by 100%. So that'll make those bids 0 and will effectively prevent you from showing up on mobile searches. However, it's no longer possible to separate tablets from desktop. So it's just a slight loss of granularity in terms of your targeting here because your desktop searches will now include tablet traffic. And so that's going to be, perhaps dilutive to your results if you were explicitly trying to exclude tablet. So that's the third path. And the last path that I'm here to talk about today is where the weather gets a little bit, thunder clouds and stormy. And that is if your campaigns were specifically only targeting either tablet and or mobile. Again, you have to ask yourself, why does this mobile only or tablet only campaign exist? If it was because you were following previous best practices of splitting up campaigns, and there's kind of a cloned copy of this campaign that exists in sort of a desktop version, then all you need to do is merge them back together. But if you were trying to exclude desktop traffic, that's no longer possible. And so, yeah, there's really nothing great to say here. You can't opt out of desktop anymore. And so, if you only wanted those mobile clicks, you're going to end up paying for both, and that's just like quite a area of contention in the search marketing community, and I think that's one of the main reasons why so many marketers are kind of up in arms over this whole enhanced campaign thing. So now that I've kind of described kind of the 4 most common paths in terms of your upgrading kind of pathways, it's worth pointing out that all of the upgrading work that you do, it's done in the Google Upgrade Center, which will probably be retired at the end of the day today, since today is Enhanced Campaign Upgrade Day. It says here 100% of your campaigns need to be upgraded by July 22, 2013, which is today. As you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory. They're just wizards that walk through kind of the concepts that we just talked about today around, like, on the left there it says upgrade your campaigns. You've got a whole bunch of 78 campaigns that are kind of targeting desktop, tablet, and all devices. So that's kind of that 95% case that I was talking about earlier, where all you're doing is you get all these extra features and functions, and it's all happy and great and sunny. The middle case had here in the second column here where it says like you've got these mobile specific campaigns that need to be merged together, and so there you have to kind of proceed with caution according to the different kind of criteria that we talked about. And let's take a look at what happens if you try to merge a mobile-only campaign. Basically, what it does is it finds the kind of the sibling campaign, like the clone version of that campaign. You see how it says campaign mobile shopping merge into campaign shopping. So those were probably the same campaign originally that was split out into two different, for mobile and desktop, and now it's trying to help you undo that change and consolidate them into one. And it just walks you through a little bit of a wizard process in terms of that consolidation. You can view the proposed merge kind of settings in terms of like, you kind of have to end up with one at the end. So what happens with the other? Well, one of the options is you can delete it after the two are merged into one. You can delete the kind of extra copy, or you could pause it, etc. And so there's all these different options for consolidating the various extensions and ad groups that you may have created in the different campaigns. And you can just then apply the changes and then or preview the results and then see what that looks like, and then that's how you would go about merging these campaigns back into the one. So in summary, we talked a lot about the four different most popular kind of upgrade paths for your campaigns. Essentially, the practice in practice it's pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of specifying a few things like consolidating campaigns or specifying a mobile bid adjustment factor. But the key here is that I think that you should be doing the upgrading and not Google. If you kind of if you renounce your chance to upgrade today, then Google is going to be upgrading your account, and who knows if their numbers will be like kind of representative of what's best for your business. It's just their best guess, but you know who's better than Google in terms of your own business. And then the other key takeaway here is that the upgrade is more than just setting the bid adjustment factor. Like all those optional features and functions that I was talking about, in terms of ad extensions and scheduling and bid adjustments for location and time, that's really like the optional part of enhanced campaigns, but that's where you're going to see the performance improvements in terms of leveraging all those new features and functions that were probably for the vast majority of people very difficult or impossible to implement due to like just the complexity. And so just remember to leverage these new features as much as possible so that you get the most out of your enhanced campaign migration. At this point, I just wanted to mention that WordStream, my company, we're the provider of WordStream PPC Advisor, and what that is, it's kind of it has something called the 20-minute PPC work week. And so, as its name suggests, it's kind of like inspired by 20-minute abs, and basically it just scans through your AdWords account every week. It does 1,000 man hours of analysis on your account, and kind of highlights the top 10 things that you should be focusing on in your AdWords account that week. And by doing this, it kind of saves you the time of having to do all that crummy analysis like by yourself, because it's just mind-boggling sometimes and takes forever. So you can see it just has some tools for doing some simple optimizations like bid management, keyword expansion, ad text optimization, negative keyword expansion, etc. And so it's pretty simple, very easy to use, and then just puts you on a path to improving your PPC accounts without taking forever. The other popular tool that we have that's absolutely free is the WordStream AdWords Performance Grader. And so what this is, it's a free kind of like evaluation of your AdWords account. You just go to the www.wordstream.com/AdWords, Google-AdWords, or you can just Google the AdWords Grader and you'll find it. Basically, it'll give you a report card. It's a little bit like viewing I don't know, your credit report or like a comparable real estate kind of appraisal, because what it's doing is it's going to evaluate the performance of your account across 8 different key metrics like click-through rate and quality score, etc. But it'll kind of give you some comparisons against some best practices benchmarks that are based on your specific industry and your size of your business in terms of like how much you're investing in paid search. So it won't compare you against Geico if you're a very small insurance company spending like $1,000 a month. But it'll compare you against other insurance agencies spending $1,000 a month. So it'll give you a really good peer comparison and give you a sense for where the strengths and weaknesses are and low-hanging fruit the issues in your account. Okay, great. So everyone, thanks so much for joining us on our kind of emergency enhanced campaigns webinar. This will most certainly be the last. So thanks for joining us. Happy Enhanced Campaign Day, everyone. May the odds be ever in your favor. And here is some links to our free Google AdWords grader and our free trial if you want to try it out. And you can contact me directly at the contact information below there. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon. Bye.